so much for joining me today in day 139 of the income stream. This week's been all about email marketing. We started off the week by first talking about lead magnets, little incentives that we can create, hopefully very attractive to our audience so that they could subscribe to our list. Then yesterday, Tuesday, we talked specifically about, okay, well, how do we get people to find these lead magnets? What are some different ways and strategies that we can get people to, know that these things exist and then subscribe? And today we're going to be talking about, okay, well, what happens immediately after a person subscribes? Yes, over time, we want to send them emails that provide value. Yes, if we have something to sell, let them know. We want to let them know that, not only do we have value and we can offer them some advice and prove our expertise and whatnot, but hopefully we can drive them into a sale perhaps. But what happens kind of right away? This first impression that we offer our brand new subscriber is extremely important. What's really cool today, we're going to be using the board. What's up, y'all? Hart, thank you so much for being here today to discuss some of these things, where people go, what can we do, how do we make a great first impression. If you're ready for that, let me know in the chat with a thumbs up, and also say hello to your fellow mates here in the income stream. And if you're watching the replay, hashtag team replay. Day 139. Let's go.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
What's up, y'all? Thanks so much for being here. And as a reminder, you might be seeing some green people here in the chat. And what I mean is their username and screen name's green. They have certain emojis that maybe you don't have access to. This week, brand new here on the channel, we have unlocked YouTube membership. A lot of you have been so supportive over the last few months and have offered super chats and ways to donate to different causes this week. In this month, in fact, we are donating to polarisproject.org to help put an end and fight human trafficking this month. Polarisproject.org. I highly recommend check them out. And all the membership income coming in, which is just, as little as $2 a month, less than a cup of coffee per month. You can be a member, you can unlock emojis. We have a brand new emoji today, which is the mind blown emoji, which I see Rhino Dog sharing there, which is pretty cool. And if you'd like to sign up, that'd be awesome, but not required. No fees required here. It's just an add-on in case you'd like to have some fun and participate as well. So awesome. So for today we're going to be talking about email marketing and specifically what happens after a person subscribes. Let me know in the chat, in fact, if you have an email list. And if you do have an email list, that's awesome because that's step one, right? Just starting this process. I know a lot of people who are very intimidated by the process of email marketing. A lot of people stay and steer away from it because email marketing can seem a little bit sneaky, a little bit sleazy. And I think that's just because we've always been on the receiving end of poor campaigns, right? There might have been great intentions. We subscribed to a list, or maybe we purchased something from somebody and then, of course, automatically join their list as a result. And then we just get bombarded with emails that maybe just don't make us feel so great. And we don't want to have our audience feel that way. In fact, the last thing we want is a person to feel that way. Now, there could be some people who might unsubscribe just over time. They might be cleaning up their inbox, but hey, if it was meant to be, they'll come back. I think a lot of people also struggle with unsubscribes. They see one or two people unsubscribe and it's like, what did I do wrong? Sometimes it's literally not anything that you could have done, but hey, if it was meant to be, somebody will come back. What we want to happen is to have people go, oh my gosh, I'm in the right spot. Oh my gosh, this email list is fantastic. It's everything I would hope it would be and more. And I cannot wait to receive the next email. And what we're going to be doing today is talking about specific ways that immediately upon subscription, we can send them to different places or send them certain types of emails that will encourage them to open those emails that they receive in the future, if that makes sense. Peasant Uprising saying, working on a landing page tonight. That's awesome. Elaine says, I have a pitfully small email list, but I'm working on changing stuff up. Thank you for being honest here, but I want to just put some perspective into this. I don't know how big your email list is, but the size of your email list, in fact, is not the most important thing. Obviously, we want to grow our email list bigger, right? So, I mean, these numbers are important. However, it's very common to hear and see people talk about, oh, my email list is this size. Oh yeah, I have 100,000 people on my email list. I'm better than you. No. It's not about that. You could have 100 people on your email list, even 20 people on your email list, heck, even 10 people in your email list. And if you've set it up correctly, you've gotten the right people in the right room, as I like to call it. Imagine 100 people in a room now. Now things are a little bit different. 100 people in a physical room without the worry of social distancing and, the virus and all that stuff. Like, this is a germ-free analogy, right? Virus-free analogy. But imagine that many people in a room who are there because they want to hear from you. I mean, that's really powerful. I mean, imagine even 20 people in a room. You've probably maybe have done presentations at work in front of 5 people, and that's still nerve-wracking sometimes. But those are real people. These people on our email list, they're not just a number. They're real human beings. So we need to make sure to understand that even though our audience might be on our email list a little bit small, those are real people. And that's very powerful. Because over time, with your email list, you can do things like surveying your audience and actually having direct one-on-one conversations with them via email. And then the ability to then understand what it is that you can create next for them, or what your next course might be about. If you've read my book, Will It Fly?, you'll understand the power of just a few really, really good conversations with people. If you've read my book, Superfans, you'll notice that it's very simple to take one individual and through a number of moments over time, convert them into a superfan. My Castle Life, thank you so much for the super chat and for joining and being a member of Team Flynn. I appreciate you. Hey Archer, super chat coming in, 88 bros per hour.
Bruh.
Love you for that. Haven't thought about it that way, says Elaine. Right. So the beauty is you actually have an advantage. You see how I'm flipping the story here? And it might seem a little crazy. You might seem like, well, you're just making this up. But, I'm flipping the story for you. You have an advantage starting with a small list because you are more likely to actually make a direct connection with a larger percentage of your audience. There is no way. Hey, Archer, there you are. Thank you for the super chat, my friend. There's no way possible that I can make a direct one-on-one connection with my email list. It's too big. Yes, the email list is too big for that. So I have to come up with other means and other ways to do that. But you have the ability to do that. What's up, Samson? Good to see you here. GTO, welcome in. Manos, Karen, Downton Show, Boost Leaked Media. Good morning, everybody. Toodles, says Deb. I love that. Toodles. Okay, so what happens after a person subscribes to our email list, right? Right away. What's the thing? Well, let's draw this out a little bit. So here I am. Don't worry, the screen's not blank. So just let me hi, I'm here. Okay, I'm here. So we have our form, right? I'm just going to draw like a little opt-in form with a little button here that people can subscribe to. And, we get their name. We're collecting their name here. We're collecting their email. And of course, in and around where they subscribe, we want to sell this thing. That was a big theme this week. Where we ask people for email, we need to, quote unquote, sell them on that idea. In fact, if I go to here and then if I put that in there we go. So you could see all that happening up there, and then you could see me, so it doesn't look like the screen went completely blank, right? So let's go back to here since we're here. We need to sell this, right? This is where we have our lead magnet displayed visually because people want to see what they're going to get before they get it. This is where we also have some strong copy in and around the lead magnet and this area where people subscribe. Okay, what is it that they're going to get? What is it that is the ultimate transformation from this lead magnet? And what's the benefit and the transformation after subscribing to our email list? That's number 2. And number 3, even including, for example, testimonials in and around the opt-in form on a landing page specifically. So this could be, on a landing page. That could be a landing page here. Maybe this is an opt-in form at the end of blog posts. Or, of course, within YouTube videos or podcasts. This could be in the sidebar of your website. or even maybe the footer. It's definitely okay to... Destiny, thank you so much for the super chat, my friend. I appreciate you. I know yesterday's chat was pretty eye-opening for you, which was really great. Simply sorry I'm late. No worries. I'm here for you. So landing page and a blog post, sidebar, footer, whatever. It's totally cool to ask for an email address in multiple places. Now, ideally, over time, and this is what we're going to be talking about tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about advanced email marketing strategies, things that you kind of only can unlock once you get started. Technically, that's not always true, but just to give you an idea, you can set it up so that after a person subscribes to your list, they no longer see opt-in forms on your website. Why do they need to see opt-in forms? They've already joined your list. Or you can include other promotions there instead. Let me undo that. And we'll talk about more advanced email marketing strategies tomorrow. And in fact, there is a webinar happening tomorrow. If you'd like to check it out, if you go to this link here, you can register and reserve a seat. There's, I think, 3 times more people registered than seats available. We can only host 1,000 people, but that happens at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern for all of you in case you want to join, and that's free. And we're going to go over some higher level and specific step-by-step advice to help you with your email. Anyway, that's what we're going to be talking about tomorrow, and then that'll close out the week. And then Friday, we have our Friday Fun Day with the wheels. Saturday with some website reviews. I'll be diving specifically and probably quite heavy into the email list collection areas of these websites. And then finally, Sunday, we'll do some Q&A too to round up the week. So that's going to be the schedule. Awesome. Let's go back to the iPad. Okay, so we're collecting an email. A person puts their name in. They put their email in, and then they hit this button, right? What happens next? Immediately, what happens next? A couple things happen. Number one, the person gets sent to a thank you page. We're going to unlock that in just a minute. Thank you. Let me move me around really quick. Thank you page. Actually, let me turn that off. Whoa, that's not what I want to do. Thank you page. And simultaneously, number 2, they're going to get an email. So we need to talk about these things, the thank you page and an email. So let's talk about the thank you page really quick. This page right over here, which I'm pointing to. This is an extremely important part of the process that's often overlooked. Too often, thank you pages just say something like this. Thank you for subscribing. Please check your inbox for the email and the lead magnet that was promised to you. Thank you. And that's it. And that's such a waste of time because, number one, it's an actual dead end, right? Yes, it might be on your website and there's places people can click around, but this is a perfect opportunity, y'all. Karma with the My Hero sticker. Is that a corgi with blush? Love you, man. Appreciate you. So we need to understand that the thank you page is a big time opportunity to further the conversation that is had all the way up to that point. If you just leave it a dead end, you're wasting an opportunity. Yes, an email is simultaneously being sent, right, through your email service provider. People subscribe, they're going to expect an email and deliverability of the thing that they, if it was a lead magnet, for example. Now, there's a couple things you can do here. On the thank you page, you can include the lead magnet, but I wouldn't do that because I want people to interact with us a little bit more. All these little micro moments within this person, this new subscriber, this brand new reader, listener, viewer, all these little micro moments add up to a big moment, which might come later in terms of a transaction or what have you. But these little wins and these little things along the way are really key. So here's what we can include on a thank you page. What we can include on a thank you page is, and this is the best practice, so we're talking about thank you pages, right? Thank you page elements. Okay, thank you page elements. Number 1, a thank you. We still want to put the thank you there. I think that's really important to offer just because we want to thank people for taking action with us. Number 2, remind them of the incentive. So if there is, in fact, a lead magnet tied to this, remind them that that's there, right? Just another connector to what they were there for. So if they're subscribing to your list for a cheat sheet, then let them know, hey, your cheat sheet is on your way, or your podcast cheat sheet, which is there to help you go from A to Z in your podcast, will be sent to you in just a moment. Please check your inbox. That's number 3. Check inbox. And you could even offer your pat@patflynn.com email to specifically, whoa, what did I do there? Hold on. You can offer your, I'm on the wrong thing here. Let's turn that off. You can check your inbox for an email from pat@patflynn.com. This is a way for people to, in case this email gets put into the junk folder or into the promotions tab within Gmail. This is great because it allows people to find it manually, and that's really key. Sometimes people don't find that email right away, and because there's incentive, because there's a reason to open it, people will go and actually work a little bit harder to find it, if that makes sense, right? So that's number 3. Number 4, hold on one second. Number 4, what's next? You can tell them sort of what's happening after this. So future pace, what this person is about to do. Give them some insight on what's happening next, right? So after you download this checklist, I'm going to walk you through the process of helping you start your podcast. We're going to start with some things about your show, and then we're going to get into some of the equipment and also some ways that you're able to market and get people to find your podcast too, right? So just a little bit of reselling the incentive to provide one more reason for people to go and make sure they find this email of yours. And then number 5 here, which I'll put over here, we can offer some additional items to click. They are on your website. They have now the knowledge that something is coming their way. This is in the middle of a process, and this is a perfect opportunity, again, on the thank you page, to include things like, now while you're here, check out some of our top performing articles about podcasting to help you even further. And again, I'm using the cheat sheet example of this for this example of a thank you page, right? We've gotten people to subscribe to a podcast cheat sheet. They are getting an email, and I'll talk about what's in that email in just a moment, but we're on a thank you page right now, an opportunity that most people overlook because this is a highly converting area for other things. I know a lot of people who, in fact, mention their courses and their products here on the thank you page. Hey, by the way, did you know I have a podcasting course? And if that's something that you might be interested in, click here to learn more about it. That's totally okay to do. I just wouldn't be super aggressive about it. Hey, you've now inserted yourself into a 5-day launch where you only have 5 days to make a decision about this right away, which you didn't know about a second ago. But just casually letting people know that you have an offer or that there is something there is totally okay to do. Most cases, people aren't going to take you up on that offer yet, right? But the fact that they know it's there is really key. This could be an opportunity for you to do things like, and while you're here, follow me on Instagram and follow me on Twitter. Here are the easy links to go and follow me. Say hello. And actually, I'd love to say hi back to you. It might be something like, you might have a Rockstar podcast episode that you did related to this topic that people are subscribing for. Hey, by the way, did you know I have a podcast? If you haven't yet subscribed to the show, follow it here. Here are all the links to where my podcast exists on Apple, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, etc. Subscribe to the show. This is a perfect place for little call to actions like that, right? So they're on the thank you page. You might as well show them these other things that they can get involved with right now. This is as opposed to what's normal, again, which is just taking them there and going, hey, there's an email coming your way. Bye. No, we never want to say goodbye to our audience. We want to keep that conversation going. So use that thank you page for other things that they should be getting involved with, right? And if they don't get involved with it then, that's totally fine. But people will get involved. Chat, let me know if that makes sense. I know that's, for some of you, that's like, oh, well, that's a duh. But for some of us who are just starting out, this is a big opportunity to connect further with our audience, to build a deeper relationship with them after they've basically said, yeah, I want to build a deeper relationship with you, right? So chat, let me know if that makes sense. And if you're going to implement that right away, you likely have a thank you page that already exists that is low-hanging fruit that you could change and upgrade to do what I've just mentioned. Again, one more time, thank you page elements, a thank you. You can, in fact, include a picture. I love including a picture along with the messaging on a thank you page because it's almost like a real-time sort of hello for me without actually having to be there. A lot of people ask me, should I include a video on here? You could, although the unfortunate thing about a video is like if it's all in the video and people aren't able to watch the video or they're at work and they're subscribing, well, you're going to miss out on actually sharing them that information. But you could have both. You could have a video in addition to text-based information like we just talked about. So that could be really great. But including a picture will suffice, and they can go from there. So thank you with a picture of you, if you're comfortable doing that, or a picture of your team, or a picture of maybe your dog, or you can have it be a little bit more of your personality. I would write in the style that you are going to send emails just in your own voice, right? It doesn't have to be professional. I think too many people have thank you pages that are like, thank you for subscribing. Please check your inbox for notification of the incentive that you have now subscribed for. Please check your inbox for an email from here. As a result, you will be able to then download the guide that you had subscribed. It's just like, what? Like, be you. Yo, what's up? Pat here. Thanks so much for subscribing. An email is being sent your way with your goodies. But for right now, a couple things that we can do. Number one, I want to get to know you a little bit more. Did you know I have a podcast? I'd love to have you subscribe to that. And in fact, here are 2 episodes that I recommend you check out right now to help you at the start of your journey. Number 2, follow me on Instagram. I share a lot of bits and pieces of my life there. Here's my link to my Instagram. Number 3, did you know that since you're involved in podcasting, here are my top 3 articles about podcasting on the website for you. Yo, I appreciate you. Team Flynn for the win. Welcome to the tribe. You're awesome. And make sure to check out that email from pat@patflynn.com so that I can make sure you get your stuff. If you have any problems, let me know. And hey, Rap and Combat in the house. Thank you so much. But wait, 90 eyes but only 45 thumbs? That is dumb. Thanks. Appreciate that. Cool. So hopefully that makes sense, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Tim says, is that for real, a Rap and Combat sighting? Yes, he's been head down getting some stuff done, y'all. Which I think is great. Thanks, Ern, for being here. Okay, so that is the thank you page. I think we talked about that enough. It can be on a separate landing page that you can put in. In fact, your email service provider will give you the option to, within that form, go, okay, when people subscribe to this form, where do you want them to go? Oftentimes, the default is a generic landing page, a thank you page that the email service provider gives to you. I mean, they need to go somewhere. So that would be a mistake to just leave that at that. Second best would be on your website or on a specific and separate landing page that you create with just some generic information. Please subscribe. Thanks for subscribing. Look out for an email coming. That's it. And then level 3 would be everything we just talked about here for your thank you page. Again, huge opportunity. I remember. In fact, my business is a little unique because I teach people business and they're sort of in my business at the same time. So it's a little meta. But I had a friend go, Pat, why don't you on your thank you page just talk about, hey, if you want to start an email list like the one that you just got involved with now, click here to join ConvertKit or get your free trial to ConvertKit. Dude, that thing converts. We've since removed that because we have different ways that we can get people into that sequence. Yo, Ern. Bruh. Thank you so much for joining. Welcome to Team Flynn Platinum, my friend. I appreciate you. And now you can use all the fun emojis, and we're unlocking new emojis every day. I have a new one to share with the members, which you'll see in the member-only community area and post a little bit later. And again, remember, share it in your voice. Share the thank you page in your voice, and that's really key. Okay, so we talked about the thank you page. What happens when a person gets an email? What's in that email? So here is what I would recommend. In fact, I'm going to give you a little case study here, and let's see if I can just start a new situation here. Let's turn that one off, turn that one on. Okay, so I'm going to give you a scenario that we use in Team Flynn with our email list to give you a little bit more incentive about how we consider the messaging here. Now, best practice would be to, and we'll talk about this tomorrow because these are advanced email marketing strategies, when you start to understand the segments of your audience. And by the way, make sure you check out the webinar that's happening tomorrow at 11 a.m. Pacific, patflynn.com/webinar. And that's really important because we're going to be going over a lot of this stuff sort of in whole in a webinar with training and live demos and stuff too. But tomorrow's income stream in the morning, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern, which is the free thing here on YouTube, and the webinar is free as well. But we're going to be talking about some advanced stuff. Now, an advanced strategy is to segment your audience. And one thing that we've done in our business is we've been able to segment our audience based on a number of different ways, based on the lead magnets that they download, based on the podcast episodes that they click on within our emails, based on a survey that we put out, based on some tools that we use to sort of collect who is where in their business. We understand that we have three buckets in our audience. Bucket one are people who have no business yet. Bucket two are people who have business and not getting results yet. Results that they want, at least. And bucket number three are sort of more advanced. Right, so these are the buckets. Bucket one, bucket two, and bucket three. And it's really helpful for us to be able to segment our audience in this. And yes, there will be a replay for tomorrow's webinar too. I'll give you some information on Friday about where you can go and get that, right? Does the webinar replace office hours? No, and that's a great reminder, Doug, because I do have an email already written that I need to just hit send on about the change in office hours time. It's not going to be super late evening like last week, but that is going to be something that will be changed just a little bit to make room for that webinar, because that does overlap a little bit. So thank you for asking. What's really nice about understanding and actually tagging people on our email list that, let's just hone in on people who have no business yet, right? I can understand now what emails to send them and what emails not to send them. We come out with an advanced SEO guide. How might that feel if a person on our email list gets an advanced SEO guide, search engine optimization guide, yet they're a beginner who doesn't even have a business or website yet? They're going to feel like they're out of place. They're going to feel like they are just not in the right area of the internet, and they're going to go find somebody else who just kind of can speak to their level, right? So what I can do is, if I have an advanced SEO article or something that comes out, or video or what have you, I can send it to my email list minus the people who I know are in bucket number one. Again, remember, bucket number one being people who have no business yet, right? So having these buckets, as Tiffany's saying here, makes it so much easier to come up with content ideas, because now I can create ideas specific to these different groups. Now, we're going to be talking about this tomorrow. When it comes to segmentation, it can get a little crazy. We don't want it to get crazy, because then you have this giant spider web of who gets what and when, and it just becomes this mess, right? I mean, you can segment down to, men between the ages of 40 and 49 who live in California who have a golden retriever. They're only going to get this email. Like, you literally could do that. And unless your target market's dog training or something like that, then it's going to be a little too over the top and definitely too confusing, right? So that's really important. Did somebody say SEO? Says Destiny. Yes, I know that's you. That's your jam. But again, for this example and talking about what we do in our business, I'll talk about this bucket number one, no business yet, right? So I do a couple things here. When somebody subscribes to a lead magnet that I know is specifically for this type of person, right? Then I can do some really cool things. On the thank you page, which we just talked about, I can include some text that might say something like, welcome future entrepreneur, right? Or, hey, really excited to help you at the start of your business journey. Make sure to check the email that was just sent your way so that you can get that free lead magnet. And in addition to that, since I know you're just starting out, here are some links to parts on the website that I'd love to put in front of you. Episode 192 of the podcast, where I start talking about all the different ways to make money with passive income, or how to make money so that you can eventually unlock passive income, and how to get started and what's required for each. I'd recommend you listen to that first. And in fact, if you didn't know, I have a podcast. I recommend you subscribe, but I would start with episode 192. So you could see that now that I know where people are at, I can actually guide them into something that's more relevant to them, as opposed to here's just our most popular stuff, which is often, great to show. We like to go to a restaurant and look at the menu and see what everybody else is ordering. But when you know that somebody's a vegan, you give them the vegan options, right? So that's sort of the analogy there. Sorry for being late. No worries. You're here. There's a replay to this as well coming up. I appreciate you for being here, Asma, and everybody else who's coming in at the 8 o'clock hour. Because remember, Wednesdays we start a half hour earlier because I have a mastermind call at the half hour mark after 8 a.m. Pacific. So hopefully that helps. Okay, so let's take this a little bit further. People now who are in bucket number 1, they subscribe to get something. And yes, you can understand that they're in bucket number 1 either up front based on the particular lead magnet. If the lead magnet is a top 10 tips for brand new business owners, then I can assume that they are in that bucket already, if that makes sense, right? Sometimes you're just going to have a more general sort of email list where people subscribe and you won't necessarily know what sort of bucket they're in yet, in which case you can use the email service provider to then start to put them into different buckets based on different clicks, based on different actions and whatnot. But either way, let's just assume that we know that a person is coming in and they are just starting out. The very first email they get will connect them to the fact that they are in the right place, because I'm going to be using language that they've probably used before, right? They're a beginner entrepreneur, right? And I want to show you an example. I'm actually going to give you a preview of tomorrow's webinar that I'm going to be offering. And I'm going to be, hold on, I just want to find, is it this one? I'm looking for the webinar. So hold on one sec, because I want to show you a part of this where I get a little bit ninja with how this works. So yes, okay. Okay, so we're here. And hopefully you can see this, right? So this is part of my presentation that I'll be sharing tomorrow. But I wanted to share with you a couple things. So when a person subscribes to the list, there's ways that you can use this content is beyond gold, says Karma. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So hopefully, maybe, can I make this smaller and blow this up for you? Yeah, okay, cool. So if you don't yet know where people are at, and you bring them into your email list and you want to define them into a specific bucket, you can do that. This is a little bit of what I'm going to be talking about tomorrow, both in the webinar and here on the live stream. But I just wanted to give you a preview because the email people receive can be really, really powerful. So keep that in mind. Am I sharing my screen here? I am. Okay, let me turn that off so you can see this. Okay, you can use your email list that you have now even to send an email that's like this. You don't have to read the whole thing, but basically within this email, I share this, and yes, there's a link there in case you wanted to go and get this copy so you can read it and actually copy it and use it for yourself. But I put this in my email. If I don't yet know what bucket they're in, I want to know so that I can send them better stuff. So in the email, again, this is the email. I'm just showing you the bottom part of it here. I can show, okay, let me know. Click here if you don't have a business. Click here if you have a business already, but you're kind of stuck. Or click here if you're generating more than $500 per month. And that way, they eventually sort of self-segment into that spot. And then I send them, this is where I was getting at. If they click on number 1 here, remember, they don't have a business yet. That's what we're focusing on right here. They don't have a business yet, that part of the audience. And again, if you don't know that, or if you're just bringing people in, you can still have a way to connect with your audience in terms of the language that you're using in these emails. But that's the most important thing. The subject line of that very first email, as well as the text within the email up front to get them to connect with you. And again, it's all leading to this email here. This is what I send people once I know they are on bucket number 1. Check out the subject line. Future entrepreneurs read this. This has an 85% open rate because this is directly tied to where they're at and why they're here in the first place, right? An 85% open rate. And read this here, right? So first of all, subject line, future entrepreneurs read this. I'm going to read this for you. Quick question. Do any of the following elements reflect where you're at right now with your desire to create an online passive income business? And then I just bullet point these fears, because I want the reader and subscriber to go, yep, that's me. Oh, that's me for sure. Maybe you are helping people with their first pool. I don't know. It's summer. We're in quarantine now, and they're now having to manage a large inflatable pool for the first time, which is in fact something I'm trying to figure out how to do and do properly now too, and properly chlorinate and all this stuff. So I'm just going to use myself as an example. I'm going to subscribe to somebody who is very knowledgeable about this. I get an email that says how to best manage your first pool. Awesome. I'm going to open it up. And then it might say, quick question. Have any of these thoughts come across your mind? How do I know how much chlorine to put in my water? How do I keep my water warm? How do I filter my water properly so I don't get my family sick? How much water should I fill the pool up to? How often do I need to refill the pool? How do I best take water out of the, like anything that is a question that you know your target audience might have, put it here. Because people, you want them to go, yep, I had those same, yep, Because when you can define the problem better than your target customer, they're going to automatically assume you have the solution. They're going to know they're on the right spot. You're essentially proving that you know what's going through their head. The more that you can do that right up front, and this bullet point strategy is really simple to do, right? I'm overwhelmed from all the information available to me. The fear of failure is stopping me. I don't know where to start. I'm not sure what kind of business to create. I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. How do I know what to say? Well, it was legit by asking people in conversations what their biggest challenge was. And now I'm just regurgitating it back to them. So now they go, oh yeah, you know exactly what I'm going through, right? And here are the kinds of replies I've been getting. Lourdes here saying, I feel like you're in my head. I'm thinking every single one of those things constantly. Jacqueline, wow, all those statements and more definitely describe how I feel. Essian says, I've never met someone who has so vividly described me as the way that you have just now. What's the likelihood that these people, chat, tell me, what's the likelihood that these people are going to open my future emails? What's the likelihood that they're going to go, wow, I finally found somebody who understands what I'm going through and will now dive into more of my stuff, right? This first impression that people get in emails, so important, right? Got thoughts of creating options to direct men for my site and not just generic lead magnet. Awesome. Lee, no worries. Can we insert the Know Your Customer form for bucket list in a page between opt-in and thank you page? There are some elements and ways that you can do that. I use a tool called Write Message to collect information about my audience up front. If you've visited smartpassiveincome.com at all recently, in fact, if I go to an incognito window, I'm going to go to smartpassiveincome.com, and you'll see in the lower right-hand corner, what does it say? Do you already have your own business? What? Look at, do you see that down there? This little pop-up, powered by Write Message. This is, again, a little bit more of an advanced tactic, but I just wanted to share this kind of stuff with you because you can collect this information on the front end of your website, even before people subscribe. That's the cool thing about Write Message. Yeah. So you come to the website for the first time, you click, no, I don't have a business. 2 weeks down the road, you subscribe. Guess what? You bypass all of the things that I do to figure out if that's you or not, because I already know. Write Message and ConvertKit integrate, and now I can already place you in that bucket. And now you're getting messages that are perfect for you as somebody who has just started a business. And the cool thing about Write Message is if you click on, do you already have a business? No. Now, the copy on the home page, the copy on other really important pages where call to actions are finely tuned to you. Write Message will do that. If you've already started a business, the copy might change to something like, let me help you grow and scale your business with a podcast, if I'm promoting the podcast stuff. Versus if you're just starting out, hey, let me help you build your first audience using a podcast to start your business. The cool thing is Write Message will do that dynamically based on the stuff that they've collected or that you've collected. So do you already have your business? Let's say, yes. Cool. What would you like the most help with right now? Let's do email marketing. Cool. Email marketing made easy. Let us help. Our collection of the very best of our email marketing guides, podcast episodes, and articles are available here. Cool. So now I'm using Write Message to not only collect information about you and what I can do to better serve you with emails, I also know now what is most important to you, and I can give you legit information about this up front right away. And that's, again, using a tool called Write Message. And that tool, that little pop-up on the bottom there, that's a tool within Write Message called Write Ask. So you can collect that information up front. Woo. Okay, so a lot of big things. Tiffany says, once you self-segment it, do you periodically send a similar survey to give them a chance to put them in a different list should they move up or upgrade? Yes. Every once in a while, send an email, hey, and even within your emails, within your segments, just say, hey, by the way, if these emails are no longer for you because you seem to have graduated from this level, click here if you now have a business that you've launched, and I can send you more information about growing and scaling your business. And that's great because it's that check-in shows your audience that you're actually helping to hopefully take care of them. I'm getting a little bit more advanced today, but that's okay. That's okay. I was hoping to see an option on the Write Message box for starting your first website. Well, that is something that's mentioned within the email. So, follow-up sequence, I have people now who are, like I said, receiving this email, and guess what? Their minds are blown because they're like, wow, I'm in the right place. You're saying all the same things that I'm thinking. That's fantastic. Guess what? Little side note, all these comments like, I'm afraid of wasting my time and money. I'm fearful I'm wasting my time. Guess where else I've used this information after collecting answers from people to what's your number one biggest challenge? Will it fly? How to test your next business idea so you don't waste your time and money. And yes, this picture is actually indeed in a fighter pilot or fighter plane. It's kind of meta there, which is pretty cool. But as you can see, this information, knowing your audience is really key. This is how when they subscribe and you give them back the information that they've already given you, or you get into their psyche, into their head, they're seeing language that they resonate with, you are speaking at their level, they're going to be more likely to open those emails. Now, obviously, in that first email that they get, you also want to include information about the lead magnet that they have. There's a number of different ways to offer this. So remember, actually, let me go redraw this really quick for you. So they subscribe, and they get the thank you page, and then they get this email. And the reason why I went down this rabbit hole is because the number one is the language is really important. The language that you use even within the subject line to get people to go, okay, this is exactly what I need and what is required here. Number two, we need to offer the lead magnet. Or at least, remember, they subscribe to get the lead magnet, which we talked about on Monday and Tuesday, but we need to deliver it to them, right? So how do we deliver the lead magnet? You could include it in the email itself, right? You could include that. That's sort of one line of thinking. So just let me keep expanding here. Oops. One, you can include it in the email. So we're talking about lead magnets now and the delivery of that. More ninja stuff coming, I promise. Hold on. Lead magnet. Okay. So number one, you can include it in the email, which means you can do a couple things. Number one, yo, Amanda, thank you. A red box of popcorn. Thank you so much for that. Super chat. I appreciate that. So A, you can have it literally like an attachment, right? Which I wouldn't recommend. The attachments often sometimes get, they don't get all the way through because a lot of email service clients, the programs by which people receive these emails, they'll see an attachment and they put these things in the promotional folder or the junk folder because of that. So I wouldn't prefer the attachment. B, you can include a link. Direct to the lead magnet. That means within the email, in the body of that email, click here to download your cheat sheet. Your cheat sheet. We're joking about it. That's never going to go away from me, is it? Click here to download your cheat sheet, right? And they click on it. It's a link to the cheat sheet on Amazon S3, or it's a link to download the thing that's linked to on Dropbox. You have it hosted somewhere else. It's even maybe even hosted on your website or something. And it's just a link that you have that people can, when they click the link on the email, it just opens up and they get it, right? Now, if the lead magnet is something like a video, then you're going to need to do what I'm about to share. But I would recommend, this would be best practice in my opinion, would be to not include it in the email. What? You don't want me to include the lead magnet in the email? No, you're going to include it in terms of messaging. You're going to let people know to click here to go and grab it, but it's not going to open directly from that link. You're going to take them back to your website. Okay? Back to your website. And if you happen to be doing a double opt-in, this is a great place to do it as well, right? You can include in the double opt-in email, which is an email that people have to click to basically verify that that's that they're a real email. They're going to have to come back to the website anyway. So an email with, hey, here's your lead magnet. Here's some information to help you. Here's how you know you're in the right spot and what emails you can look forward to. That's the final piece of this. So if you have to go, remember, in your emails, if you have an autoresponder sequence, let people know what the next email is going to be about or what it's going to unlock for them. That way they can look forward to it. Again, if you've pre-written those emails and they're more delivered in an automated fashion. Now, obviously, if you're sending broadcasts, you won't know necessarily ahead of time what you're going to send them, so you don't need to mention that. But if you know that you're going to offer a series of emails over time, especially if it's like an email course, for example, that is the lead magnet, then everything's just delivered via email and you can let people know what they have to look forward to. But best practice, if it's a downloadable, I like to host that downloadable on a separate page. Right, and this is why I created a course on email marketing, because a lot of this stuff can seem a little confusing. It's hard to talk about this all within a 1 hour period. I would much rather show you and demonstrate with video, which I have in the course, but I'm not selling the course for you today. I will be mentioning it at the end of the webinar tomorrow, which is going to be a higher level training, patflynn.com/webinar, and that's for my course, Email Marketing Magic. And anyway, I like bringing people back to the website, right? Because number one, that's a page where we can, again, show and deliver, and that's the page, the website, after they click or after they get that email, your lead magnet's delivered there on that web page. That way, if you ever wanted to update lead magnet, you just have to update it on that page. That way, you can include some other information in and around that, or even a video to go along with that lead magnet too. And like the thank you page, it becomes a place to add new things. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to the podcast yet, subscribe here. Yeah, you just asked them to do it, but this would be a great place to do it again. If they already did it, great. They've already fulfilled that one, right? You can even do, I've seen this on some thank you pages where literally it's, put on your website on a new landing page. And again, what I love about that is it's there on your website. They're back on your website. And that provides signals to Google for SEO. If they should happen to stick around and click around, it is something that brings them back to a place that they're familiar with, as opposed to just playing around with them in your inbox. You can offer some additional items that they can do. And I've seen on a lot of these landing pages where the lead magnet is offered is step 1, click here to download your lead magnet. Step 2, make sure if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the podcast. Step 3, follow me on these social media channels. Step 4, click here to dive deeper into some articles that are going to help walk you through this area. I've seen a lot of people use this opportunity to go step 4 or step 2 or whatever step. Here is an on-demand training to help walk you through this lead magnet, right? And maybe it's a 20-minute video you create that actually shows the checklist. Here's how you go through it. And then at the end of that video, guess what they do? They promote a course, or they promote some incentive, or maybe it's to a software, maybe it's to a hosting platform so they can start their website, whatever the case may be. Unique DNA, welcome to Team Flynn Platinum. Bruh. Thanks so much. I appreciate you for being here. Cool. Scooby Life, welcome to Team Flynn Platinum. Thank you so much. You're amazing. Have fun with all those emojis. We have a new one coming very soon. I love what Karma has said here. This content is beyond gold. This content should be paid for. We're thousands. Trust me. Thanks, Karma. I appreciate you. Cool. Awesome. So Anyway, we're getting a little bit advanced here. I was trying to save a lot of the advanced stuff for tomorrow, but we're just talking about the first moments people subscribe, right? They subscribe, they go to a thank you page. Make sure you include some stuff on the thank you page to continue that conversation, not just a dead end, but hey, since you're here, subscribe to my podcast, check out these articles. I would start here if I was you, these sorts of things, and a reminder to let them know that an email is coming with their lead magnet, or that they're gonna have to click on an email to confirm that they are indeed a human being first. And that way they know what to do next. You're guiding them. It's not just sort of up to sort of random chance. Deb, welcome to Team Flynn Platinum.
Bruh.
You're awesome. Thank you, Deb. I need to get a sound effect that's like related to Team Flynn and the new members, right? Like, welcome to Team Flynn. I don't know, that's not good. Anyway. All right. I have to sneeze, and it's going like right up my nose. Woo! Sinus pressure, excuse me. Question, will you discuss how to remedy if you let the email list get cold, as in you haven't interacted with them for a long time? Yeah, I mean, I can talk about that tomorrow. And in fact, I can offer you a little bit of advice now, because I think a lot of people are afraid to dive back into their email because they've left those emails dormant for a while. So I'll speak to that now for you. But there is indeed, in fact, in my course, Email Marketing Magic, an entire lesson dedicated to this, because there are some sort of nuances to this. I will say that if you are a ConvertKit user, man, ConvertKit's just amazing. Let me bring up, how do I, ConvertKit re-engagement. How to prune cold subscribers from your list. How to break up with cold subscribers. Yeah, so anyway, there's some parts within ConvertKit that actually you can click a button. What I love about ConvertKit is you can click a button, and then a campaign that was created with a number of sequences and emails already pre-written are now yours. And ConvertKit has a whole library of emails that you can use. For example, let's see. This automation, I literally can click this button, and now I have this happening. Like, this gets put into my email database, and I can just turn it on, and I can use this automation from here. So what happens is, a certain number of emails are sent trying to re-engage people, and should they not want to re-engage, then I remove them, if that makes sense. So this is more of a pruning situation. But for you, Romer, you're talking more about, okay, well, I've had these people sit dormant for a while. How do I get them excited again? And here's what I would recommend you do, and this is sort of where I wanted to finish up anyway today, in terms of like, okay, what are the next follow-up emails going to be like? An email that specifically asks questions like, well, what are you struggling with right now, are really key. This is, in fact, a secret that I had implemented for a while, and it was so helpful that I was like afraid to share it with people, but there was no reason for me to hold it in. I, as you know now, share everything that I do. But an email, maybe it's not the first one. The first one, you deliver that lead magnet, you connect with people, you perhaps put them into a different bucket if you have that capability. But maybe the third or fourth email that you send out, it can be an email that says something like, hey, I have a question to ask you. Or the subject line is, a quick question, do you have a minute? That's a great subject line because it sounds very personal, right? And then the email might be, I'd love for you to tell me what the number one biggest challenge is that you're having right now related to blank. Or what's a topic that you would love for me to cover that could best help you moving forward in the blog or in the business or in the YouTube channel or podcast or what have you. A question that is essentially like a survey on what can I help you with right now is really key. So I would include that. Another question or another way to utilize your email list would be specifically to, hold on, I had lost my train of thought, is a quick win. That's what we want. So this is what I used to do. And I still do this in a different way, but I don't use this specific strategy anymore, but I'll share it with you anyway, because it can be really helpful. It worked for me for 8 years before we changed it up and got a little bit more fine-tuned, especially with now that we collect information about where people are coming from. But anyway, you want to hit people hard with a really amazing quick win really early on in the email sequence. It could, in fact, even be the first email. And what I mean by a quick win is something that they can do, and within 5 minutes, your new subscriber can get something that they hadn't had before, right? It unlocks something new for them that they've perhaps been struggling with for a while, or it teaches them something that was really difficult for them in a much easier way, right up front, right within that email. So here's how I used to do it when I used to talk more about, and I had become known for content marketing for a very long time. I was once called like a content machine, and I still feel like I do a really good job of that, but that's not what I'm quote unquote known for right now. But back in the blogging days, I was a content machine. And so people came to me wanting to know about content and how I was able to come up with all these things. So I literally just gave them the biggest tip right up front, because what that does, and again, especially if it's a result that they can get, it essentially trains them to go, oh my gosh, I've already gotten something in the first email that took me so long to figure out, and Pat was able to do that. Oh my gosh, like it would behoove me not to open the next emails, right? So those open rates stay high if you deliver a quick win up front. So here was the quick win in regards to people subscribing because they knew me for, delivering great content. So the quick win was my I think the subject line of this email, which was I think the second email that went out, was, the number one, or a magic trick for content creation revealed, or something like that. It's something about a magic trick and revealing it and sort of letting people in on this sort of insider information or whatnot. People love to see what's behind the scenes. They love to see insider information. That's a great subject line. And this email would essentially just go, hey, I create a lot of content and I found a unique way to find out exactly what I should be talking about, and especially things that I might have missed otherwise. So here's what I would love for you to do. Go to Amazon.com, and I literally just step by step tell people what to do here. And you've probably heard me share this before, maybe not. But you go to Amazon.com, use keywords about your niche or niche in the keyword search area in Amazon, and find a book related to your topic. When you find a book related to your topic, open up the cover. You can actually do this by clicking on the artwork or the cover of that book and look inside. Go to the table of contents. Use the table of contents as a way for you to determine if you're talking about all the different parts and components of this topic. Here's an example. You look up fly fishing, you find this fly fishing guide, you see something about a chapter about tying flies, which you forgot to talk about. Well, now you have motivation and inspiration to talk about that now. And don't copy, but you can use that as inspiration. 5 top ways beginners can tie flies. The top 5 flies that you should be tying for river fishing. How to tie your first saltwater fly. Biggest mistakes people make when tying their flies. Just like you can come up with 10 different types of content related to that. So there's a little tip for you, a little meta, since I'm talking about a strategy, but maybe you just learned something. So I share that tip, and literally I'll get replies going, oh my gosh, you've blown my mind. Incredible. Can't wait to your next email, all those sorts of things. So hopefully that makes sense. Woo. All right. You aren't selling products, you're selling access to you, Pat Flynn. Like it. Mind blown. Love it. Pat, talking my language database. Jennifer, thank you so much for being part of Team Flynn. Welcome to Team Flynn Gold. Appreciate you. Have you checked out Nick Nimmin's audio for when he has new members come on? I think that I can automate that. I don't remember what he says, but I know that I can automate that using, I think, Streamlabs. I'm hoping I can, because then I can have a unique sound pop up automatically, and have it be a reminder, because sometimes if I'm not in the chat and I don't see it, I might miss it, unlike the super chats, which I already have. So, Romer, what I would recommend is for your cold list, offer a quick win. Hey, it's been a while, but I wanted to give you something that's going to help you with XYZ. Here it is. And then also asking for a reply gets people to kind of understand, okay, you are going to show up. You're offering a little bit of access to you now, and that's what I would recommend. Woo. Okay, chat. Thank you so much. We are at the half-hour mark, so I have to bounce for a conversation with my mastermind group right now. But hopefully this was helpful for you. If you aren't subscribed as a member here, I would love to welcome you in, and you get access to certain perks and emojis and such. But not required. And again, all that money goes to certain foundations that we support every single month. This month, we're supporting PolarisProject.org to help put an end to human trafficking. And yeah, good stuff. I hope today was valuable. My kids and I, we will be on Twitch later at 3 p.m. Pacific. Twitch.tv/HighLife Hot Coals Only, twitch.tv/hotcoalsonly if you want to see us play around a little bit. And they just released a brand new major update in Fortnite. So we're going to have some fun exploring that together. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. Pacific. Manos, I'll see you there. And a few other people I know are going to be there. Castle Life, awesome. Great job today. We're going to finish off and cap off email marketing tomorrow with a little bit more advanced stuff that you beginners can look forward to. And those of you who are advanced can hopefully unlock sooner than later. So well done. Keep up the great work. I appreciate you. And as always, Team Flynn for the win. Peace out, y'all.
This is the income stream to help you achieve your dream, all while we keep it clean. This is the income stream. It's the kind of show where you can come and go, but then you leave inspired with no fee required. The income stream with Pat Flynn.
Thank you for being here today. I appreciate you. You are amazing. Keep up the good work, y'all. Thank you, and peace out. Love you.
Bruh.